Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Northwest Craftsman. Today we're going to be talking about low-cost options for sealing your shop. One of the problems that I run into pretty regularly is that everything in my shop gets dusty because I live on a farm and there's a whole bunch of dust around the farm. And so I want to try and seal my shop off a little bit more so that I get even less dust in the shop than what would normally be coming in and from what I generate. I can handle the dust that I make. It's really hard to handle the dust that gets made around the shop. All right, let's get started. Okay, so there's a couple of different areas of the shop that need to get sealed off. One is in the wall all the way up and along the edge over here, and I actually did a lot of work initially with this pink foam to seal off that upper gap between the wall itself and the main beam that runs across the entire barn or the garage that I'm in. So that guy's pretty well sealed off. You can see some more in the wall that I put over here. But really it's up and around the edges. Up here on the top, I don't know if you guys can see it very well, there's a big triangular portion that is cut open and it just opens up to the rest of the shop. And that's essentially just open to the rest of the world. So I need to get something figured out for that. The third area that I need to get figured out is underneath the doors. I made sure that there was plenty of clearance under the doors all the way through here so that the doors had no issues when they were opening, but that also means that I've got a good gap underneath. And it looks like there's more of a gap than there really is because that door is just a little bit open right now. Also, please ignore all the mess that I have. I haven't cleaned up the shop in a little while. But yes, so I need to seal under the door right here. Another area that I need to seal is up here, not where it's open in the back of the shop. It's open all the way up to the roof. This side, they have a floor right above that they store stuff on, or that the landowner store stuff on. And so I've got just some loose OSB and some loose 2x6s or 2x12s. I'm not 100% sure. Those look like 2x12s maybe. But there's a whole bunch of gaps between them. And you can see like right up in here, there's a big old gap in the OSB, and technically the eaves are open right here. We'll see what exactly I want to do in there, but I need to figure out some way to seal the ceiling in here. So for those different areas, there's a couple of different solutions that I'm going to be using. For the primary triangular opening that's in the ceiling and for the roof slats or for the rafters, I'm going to go ahead and use some of this heavy duty like 10 mil painter's plastic. I went ahead and got a roll of it at Home Depot. And it's not a permanent solution. Nominally, I would actually want to wall this in so it sealed off my shop better. But this was a pretty good, cheap solution so that I didn't have to drop a whole bunch of money into it. And I'm hoping that it makes a pretty solid difference. For the bottom of the doors, I'm using just some commercial sweeper door bottoms. And they have like 1 inch of nylon brushes on them. So they don't prevent the door from opening or from going over the top of anything. But they will prevent dust and debris and wind from blowing things underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting those guys installed and let you guys just watch the process. Well, guys, there she is. I got the plastic wrap all over the roof, and it is way uglier than I imagined it would be. But I'm thinking it's probably going to keep dust from falling through those cracks a lot better than we used to have. I also got the, on the door right here, I got the sweepers on the bottom, and those worked out really well. I actually had to put a small extension on the bottom of it, you can see, or on the wall right here, because my door was too far off the ground, so I got a little 1x2 or a 1x3 on there, and just mounted those straight to those, and then put them to the bottom of the door. And then you can see up there in the top, I got that nice triangular piece all the way across. Sorry, I'm trying to block the light so it doesn't blind you guys. But yeah, that turned out really nice, and I'm really excited. So as I went through and I was doing this work, I found there's a couple other spots that are probably going to need to be covered up or sealed. Some of the eaves right up here in the top, in the ceiling, where it separates off to the other side, I noticed that those were just wide open. And then over where the roof is partially covered, there's a gap between where that OSB ends and where it hits the roof, and so there's probably like an 8-inch gap over there, so I'm probably gonna have to do something about those. But for now, the large opening above the work area and then the areas that had cracks in the top that I knew dust was just falling through are all covered up, so that should reduce a lot of the dust that I'm getting into the shop, and I'll just kind of fine tune the rest of the process and try to keep my shop a little bit cleaner. It's never gonna be perfect, but it'll be a little bit cleaner as we're trying to work through it. All right, thank you guys for joining today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned a few tips on how to keep your shop a little bit less dusty from environmental dust, not necessarily from the own dust that you're creating. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one. Bye.